I don't want to be cute. I don't want to be a wise guy. But today, February the 5th, 2025, already looks like the day when Donald J. Trump went too far, even for Donald J. Trump. A day of overreach. His cheery proposal to evict 2 million Palestinians from Gaza and turn it into an American-owned beautiful Riviera has been rejected by almost everyone. The Palestinians themselves, the Arab countries that Trump wanted to take them in, America's enemies, America's friends. These kind of rush of blood to the head, what a cracker of an idea, are what happens, can I politely suggest, when someone with complete power talks only to obsequious yes men. Truth is, Donald, not all the world's problems can be solved by a real estate deal. Let's just remind ourselves of what he actually said.
The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it, too. We'll own it and be responsible for dismantling all of the dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons on the site, level the site and get rid of the destroyed buildings, level it out, create an economic development that will supply unlimited numbers of jobs and housing for the people of the area.
Saudi Arabia said it would not re-establish relations with Israel without the creation of a Palestinian state, and that position was non-negotiable. Egypt says no. Jordan says no. Here in the UK, we've been wondering what it would take to get an explicit statement of disagreement with Donald Trump from Keir Starmer. And today, we found out. The British government, he said, remained completely committed to a two-state solution and Palestinians being allowed to return home and hadn't changed its mind. The Prime Minister told the Commons he had two images in his mind, one of the returned Israeli hostage, Emily Damari, and the second...
The second was the image of thousands of Palestinians literally walking through the rubble to try to find their homes and their communities in Gaza. They must be allowed home. They must be allowed to rebuild, and we should be with them in that rebuild on the way to a two-state solution.
And you've been calling into LBC all day to give your verdict on the President's comments as well.
This is not the solution, but I do welcome the attempt, an out-of-left-field attempt to break the impasse on what is, the most intractable political problem that I think in the world today. I don't regard the idea of population transfer as crazy. I would have a different view. I would like to see any solution must give something to the Israelis and something to the Palestinians.
I'm a daughter of Jewish parents. We had Holocaust Day last week, and you could see the poor people being kicked out of their homes and moved out and moved on. Do we really want to do that again?
Number one, he plays into the hands of Hamas. Now suddenly they become a freedom fighter. They can tell, look, this is what we've been telling you. We're going to be exterminated from our land. That is something that gives them a limelight.
But of course, the most important voices are those in the immediate area. And I'm going to speak now to Nabil Fahmy, the former Egyptian foreign minister who was also Egypt's ambassador to the United States.
We have been part and parcel of the Palestinian cause since 1947. We've battled diplomatically for that purpose, besides Arab-Israeli wars, which were in conjunction of that. That's one thing. Secondly, Egyptians don't want to be part of a de-Palestinization of the territories. They don't want to be accused directly or implicitly of having been part of this. It's not an issue of we cannot cope with 1 million more people. That's of course a problem, but it's much more political than that. We have our own economic problems, but it's not an economic. It is. We believe they have the right to have their own nation, their own country. And we're being asked now to be part of a package that openly says they may not want to come back. So the idea is find them somewhere else to go. And we won't be part of that.
What do you think would actually happen if the Americans went ahead with this, landed American troops into Gaza and tried to move the Palestinian population out to your country or to Jordan? What would actually happen in practical terms?
You'd have several issues here. I'd find it very, very difficult to land American troops and physically force Palestinians to get on planes and leave to go somewhere else. I'm not talking about the logistic part of that. That's difficult anyway. But I'm talking about, can you imagine having that on your show and the image that it would leave with people in the Middle East and beyond, in the West, and even in America? America trying to deport people forcefully from another territory to a third territory. This is actually not American land. And another question is, frankly, what is the actual benefit of this to America?
It was clear during the press conference when Donald Trump was mentioning all this idea, this sort of fresh idea that he'd had, that sitting alongside him was Benjamin Netanyahu, who was nodding and smiling and seemed very pleased by what he was hearing. Is there a danger here, a serious danger, that what Trump has done persuades the Israelis they don't have to go ahead with the full peace deal or the ceasefire deal or any discussion whatever of a Palestinian state? In other words, that it pushes things backwards?
Definitely so. The whole logic, why would you have to have a ceasefire in Gaza if you empty Gaza? So, yes, if you're going to empty Gaza, you may actually have a calming of violence for a while from the Israeli side, provided the Americans are emptying the place. But you may also have the opposite, because people are afraid of being evacuated from their homes, so you have Palestinian ending of the ceasefire. That's the first point. The second point, I'm actually worried that this mega, or MAGA if you want, attempt to empty the Palestinians of the Palestinian land of its people. And the first step here, by the way, it's not the last step. The first step is Gaza. What you will have after that is a similar situation in the West Bank. And both of these cases are driven by the Israeli right, who have immediately embraced the proposal and said, you're the best in the world, and we will create plans to ensure that the Palestinians move out. And I don't have to remind you, the former, or the Minister of Finance of Israel, a few weeks ago, said the Palestinians have three choices. They can leave, or they can remain in Israel without political rights, or face the consequences of those who are living in Gaza. So this doesn't come out of the vacuum.